Hare Krishna, can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yesterday we completed the second chapter. I'll do a quick recap of that chapter. And before we start the third chapter today, we will take questions because there are leftover questions of yesterday. And once we move on to the new chapter, then the context will change and then those questions may not seem very relevant. So I'm telling beforehand, those of you who had some questions yesterday, please do. I hope that you have copy pasted them on your WhatsApp or something. If you wish to type it, send it across to me right now. Send it across in the chat right now, Zoom chat, or you can raise your hands already. So yesterday's unanswered questions, you can already raise your hands because we are going to do a quick recap of this chapter and then we will start taking those questions. I think Sham Sundaranand Prabhu also had a question. Yesterday he had his hands raised. I think the last question was unattended. So Sham Sundaranand Prabhu, you can also raise your hands if you don't mind. So then, okay. Anyways, so here uh, we saw that Agnidra was the son of Priyavrat Maharaj, the eldest son. Agnidra, it is mentioned that he after his father took up to the Vanaprastha ashram, then Agnidra perfectly ruled the citizens according to dharma. That is mentioned. Very important point we were discussing in this context yesterday. That even though the activities of Agnidra flirting with Purvachitti may seem very awkward and not so improper, but one should understand that this was within the hmm, allowed activities with respect for Kshatriyas. This kind of a flirting was not allowed. So the point is that dharma is very, very specific, the Varnashrama dharma. In this context, we were discussing the other day, I mean, yesterday, that if someone says that bhakti is very complicated, I might as well practice karma yoga. If it is for the purpose of being complicated, oh, I have to avoid offenses and I have to avoid this and that. That's why I will practice karma yoga. If someone says like that, uh, then the point is that the same effect of offenses is there in karma yoga also. It's not that you can commit an offense and get away if you are practicing karma yoga or jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga. Hmm. And on top of that, at least in bhakti, the rules are fairly straightforward. It is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam for everyone. But on the path of karma, it is not like that. There are different rules for different people, for Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas. And then on top of that, if you are in one of the four ashramas, Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, Grihastha, or Sannyas, the rules keep changing and the practices keep changing. And there are many, many rituals which are there. So if someone thinks that karma yoga is very straightforward, only for the complexity purpose, uh, then karma yoga is much more complex. And I'm not talking about jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga because karma yoga is a prerequisite for that. And if someone at this point of time decides, I would better fit in karma yoga, then the question is, I'm sorry, you don't have a choice because, what about the samskaras? Your parents must have thought that I wish my son remains a very good karma yogi and they must have done the samskaras. If they have not done the samskaras, then you're already, we are in the category of Dvijabandhus, right? So, but bhakti is not like that. At any moment when someone by the association of Vaishnavas receive um, the seed of devotion, from that moment onwards, they can start practicing bhakti. And what to speak of practicing bhakti, they can perfect bhakti also. Okay. And this is not available in the other this thing. So in this context, we were having this discussion yesterday. And once he went to the forest to because he wanted to marry and beget progeny. So he wanted a suitable wife. So he went to the forest to perform some austerities for the pleasure of for pleasing Brahmaji, so that Brahmaji could um, bestow him the benediction of a good wife and then subsequently good progeny. So he went there, and that was the place where the wives of the Devatas also used to play. And understanding Agnidra's desire, Brahmaji sent him Purvachitti, who was one of the singers in his assembly. And the whole description was there. The how the whole surroundings was stimulating that conjugal desire, and Purvachitti came there, and mm, his eyes were half open, and he opened those eyes and saw Purvachitti when he heard the tinkling of her ankle bells. And then it is mentioned that and then he starts openly flirting with her. Okay. Uh, we will not go into the details of that. Who are you? Are you the best of the sages? Like that, he actually first fakes that, oh, I don't know you. I don't even know the opposite gender like that. But then later, his lust does not allow him to fake like that. Then he very clearly addresses her in feminine gender also. Um, anyways, so this whole conversation happened, and finally, it is mentioned. Mm, So finally, he says that I will not leave you because you have been given by Brahma. My mind and eyes cannot leave you. Hmm. You should lead me wherever you want. May your favorable friends also follow you. I don't mind, but I will come wherever you go. Hmm. And thus, being such an expert in entreating women, Agnidra Vibhudamatihi, he had the intelligence of a devata, worshipped this devata woman with words filled with the expertise of a materialist, cleverness of a materialist. Hmm. So, and also, um, Purva Chitti was also similarly attracted to Agnidra because of his wealth, beauty, behavior, magnanimity, and also his being the king of the whole Jambudvip. So Purva Chitti also liked him. So she lived with him for 100 million years and enjoyed earthly and heavenly happiness. And in the womb of Purva Chitti, Agnidra begot 9 sons. You know, Nabi, Kim Purusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrita, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva, and Ketumala. So these are the 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa. So it is very clear that Agnidra divided the Jambudvipa into 9 parts and handed over 1 Varsha each to his sons. So in that, the only thing is Bharata Varsha. Rest all Varshas are their name remained, except for Bharata Varsha. Bharata Varsha was called as Ajanaba Varsha because the eldest son Nabi, it was named after him. So it was called as Ajanaba Varsha. Sorry, Nabi, and then Rishabhadev was Nabi's son. Because Rishabhadev was born of Nabi, he was called as Ajanaba. And because that Varsha was taken care of by Rishabhadev, that Varsha became named after Rishabhadev, which is Ajanaba Varsha. Then subsequently, Bharat Maharaj took over. Bharat Maharaj was the eldest son of Rishabhadev. He started ruling Ajanaba Varsha. Then after him, that Varsha was named as Bharata Varsha. Okay. So, anyways, Purvachiti gave birth to these 9 sons. She gave one son, uh, she gave birth to one son each year. and then left them in the house of the king and again approached Lord Brahma. She went back, and because of drinking her milk, they were all very powerful. And Agnidra ruled a different part of Jambudvip that they had received from their father. These kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Okay. So, but Agnidra could not give up his remembrance of Purvachiti. He was always remembering her. So, at the end of his life, he went to the same planet where Purvachiti was there. Huh? So, after the departure of their father, the 9 brothers married the 9 daughters of Meru, named Meru Devi, Pratirupa, Ugradamshtri, and so on. And that's it. Okay, that's where the chapter ended yesterday. And then we had some long discussions, question answers yesterday. So again, as I'm telling before starting the third chapter, because as soon as we start the third chapter, the context will change. So we are going to take yesterday's leftover questions today. So those of you whose questions were not answered yesterday, either on the chat box, you can type your questions and send, or please raise your hands and we can take those questions now. Okay. Yes. Sita Komal Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, my question is, Prabhuji, you mentioned, I mean, in revision also you shared this point again, that we cannot decide that whether we want to be in Karma Yoga. Our parents had to do sanskara and this and that. So my point is, Prabhu, before coming to Bhakti, what were we doing? Were we Karma Kandi?
It depends on person to person. How can I give a generic answer to this?
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, by default, is there any like generic masses of the population?
I'm sure there are some devotees in this forum whose parents did proper samskaras to them. They were either Brahmanas or maybe Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, like that. And probably there are some people who did proper samskara and were following the principles of Karma Yoga also to some extent. Uh, and not to a great extent, but at least to some extent they were probably following. Some others probably in their family ritual only for generations together, those samskaras were given up. So I cannot give a generic answer to all. Maybe some people were following to some extent, some people were not at all following. So yeah, like that.
Prabhuji, one is Varnashram system and another is yoga ladder. So, how do we relate to these two? I mean, like, because you said we can't follow the Karma Yoga. So, suppose, I mean, what I'm trying to ask is in general, suppose like I come from a North Indian family, so where these rituals and all were not at all performed. So, was I mean, I know you will say it's a specific question, but usually the general masses, do we say they are Karma Kandis? I mean,
Well, uh, karma kandis at least follow some Vedic rituals for getting some piety, and maybe that may include demigod worship also. But if someone is not following even that, then they are outright materialists. Mm. Then you may have the karma kandis who may follow the peripheral shastras, which may talk about demigod worship and all that. Then comes the Sakama Karma Yogis who have material desires which they really want to fulfill, but for that they are willing to worship Vishnu. Then higher than them are the Nishkama Karma Yogis who may have material desires in the form of anarthas, but they have clearly defined their goal as liberation. And for that, and still they are following the Varnashrama duties. They are Nishkama Karma Yogis. Then higher than them are the Jnana Yogis, Ashtanga Yogis, whose heart has already been purified by the practice of Nishkama Karma Yoga. They have no anarthas, and they actually uh, focus on realizing the Brahman, and they attain liberation. So this is this thing. So on one end of the spectrum are the materialists, and at the other end are the Jivan Muktas who are just ready to attain liberation. This is the gradual path. So higher than the materialists are the karma kandis who are at least involved in some kind of demigod worship, which is according to the at least the peripheral shastras of the Vedas, like that.
Okay, but Prabhuji, ultimately, karma kandis are also materialist only because they are also doing some kind of a trade only with Lord, with demigods.
Yeah, they are materialists only, but they are at least they have accepted the Vedic scriptures for that. They are in that way they are better.
Okay, so they're kind of showing their dependence on higher beings. I mean
Yeah,
demigods. So
yeah,
in that,
yeah,
okay. And Prabhuji, just one thing, Prabhuji, Priyavrat Maharaj was Lord's devotee. So that is why you mentioned this also. Whatever facilities were coming to his ways, so they are not going to
yeah,
bound him
yeah,
because that's Krishna's desire. So
yeah.
and so Prabhuji, his son Agnidhara, what was he? He was not a devotee.
He was apparently not a devotee. So that is the point we were discussing the other day. There is no guarantee that a devotee's children will be devotees. Krishna does not give that kind of a guarantee. That's what again and again we are discussing.
Ji, ji, Prabhu. Okay. So then, how do we see him, Prabhu? What was he doing? He was a karma yogi.
He was worshipping Brahmaji. I don't know. There is no mention of whether that mention worship of Brahma was only for that specific purpose or was he exactly a complete demigod worshipper. Those details are not given, so I cannot comment on that. There is
Prabhu,
only one mention that he worshipped Brahmaji, and at the end of the life, he went to the abode of Purvachitti, some heavenly planets. That much is mentioned. So, whether was he a Sakama Karma Yogi, was he a worshipper of Krishna, worshipper of the Lord for some material benefits, that is not very clearly mentioned.
okay. So, Prabhuji, my thing is, you yesterday mentioned that it's very difficult to conceive why this kind of a chapter is in Srimad Bhagavatam, because maybe Krishna wants us to understand, in case how to deal with the attraction with the opposite gender. So,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, otherwise, well, apart from this aspect, is there any other learning from this chapter? I read complete Prabhupada's purport also. I mean, I couldn't relate again the same thing. Why this kind of
Whatever
chapter?
learning, whatever learning the acharyas give, that is the learning that we can learn.
Okay. जी, जी, जी. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Uh, There is one question in the chat box. We always see bhaktas are in minority. Is it because Sukriti is required? Yeah, yeah. Bhaktas will always be in minority because Sudurlabha. The karma nishtas, those who have karma nishtas, they will always be in majority. Okay. Because for karma nishta, all that you need is a prior experience of enjoying in this material world. So when that prior experience of enjoying in this material world is there, then you are automatically qualified for karma. Okay. Uh, and of course, then subsequently the samskaras and other things are needed. So karma nishta may be there, but karma adhikar may not be there. Okay. Okay. You may have faith in karma, but you may not have the adhikar because if there is no samskaras and uh, like that. So bhakti devotees will be in minority. Yeah, because the system created it because it takes lifetimes of accumulation of agyata sukriti for that to mature into shraddha. And after receiving that shraddha, we have to very carefully be very careful to not allow that seed to get destroyed by offenses and things like that. And we need good association to nourish that seed. All of that is needed. Okay. One more question. Later on, we will see in the coming verses as Agnidra as a pure duty. We will see that. We will see that. Once it comes, we will see. I am presenting based on whatever has been revealed till now. Subsequent verses, we will see what it is mentioned. Why devotees desire not bind him? Because eventually he will be purified. Well, it is not like that. When we say devotees desires, material desires will not bind him, it means he will not be bound by the law of karma. But that does not mean a devotee possessing a material desire and you know his progress in bhakti will be stunted. Um, it will be stunted because of those material desires, because of uh, you know keeping those material desires. It is not that with those material desires he will at the end of the life go back home back to Godhead. Not like that. Okay. When he will not be bound by material desires means he will not be bound by the law of karma. That's what it means. But otherwise, unless he gives up those material desires, he will stay in this material world. But his stay in the material world will not be um, controlled by the law of karma. That's what it means. Otherwise, that does not, he will not be bound, does not mean that, oh, it doesn't really matter whether a devotee has material desires or not. At the end of the life, he will automatically go back home, back to God. That's not what it means. Like that. Okay. So there are some more questions in the chat box. The process of giving birth to a child for the apsaras is also the same as the human beings, like labor, pain, etc. Probably not, but details are not given, so I cannot tell. What kind of samskaras that Apsara Purvachitti had that she could be so detached? Uh, well, it is not detachment. The principle is always um, param drishtva nivartate. And that param drishtva nivartate does not just refer to devotees. The param drishtva nivartate refers, that's a generic principle. At some point, Purvachitti got bored living the life with a human being. She was naturally a devata, so she probably wanted to go back and live the life of a devata. That's all. There is not much. This is not a question of detachment or anything of that sort. Okay, Sham Sundaranandru.
Nandavad Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandath.
Very nice explanations about the topic about the detachment and stuff of and also the karmanishta. What is the qualification for karmanishta? All this stuff. We discussed about the varnashrama thing. I think on that cue you asked me to raise this question again
Yeah.
to clarify if I have any questions further.
Yeah.
So it always intrigues me when we talk about varnashrama, all these things, and there is lot of discussion all over the ISKCON also, like what is actually varnashrama, and you also touched upon this point multiple times, and yesterday also, and you also talked about what Vanaswami Maharaj told about his opinion of what Prabhupada said, all these
Mhm.
things. So
Yeah.
from today's discussion on the that uh, hinted topic, so if on the karmanishta, who is qualified for karmanishta, all these things.
Mhm.
So I just want to ask the question of the basic classification. Uh, uh, Classification perspective per se, because varnashrama also deals with is heavily dependent on classifying people for their progress.
Mhm.
So ultimately, varnashrama in itself totally is not material objective, right? So it is intended to actually elevate people from the lower status to the higher status, right?
Yeah. It
Mm,
is meant. I will just add one
mm,
qualifier to that.
okay,
It is meant to gradually elevate those people who have not received the seed of pure devotional service.
okay, okay.
So that
Eh,
is a very important qualifier.
Agreed. Okay, agreed.
Yeah,
I don't go in that direction also.
yeah.
I will ask that question in a different thing. So we understand. I mean, right now there is so much talk also going on, and even it's been going on maybe quite some time in the
Yeah.
outside world, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
so much of discrimination in the
Mm-hmm.
name of classification. There is so
Mm,
much of discrimination, and there
mm,
is so much of also exploitation
mm-hmm.
also of
Mm-hmm.
the people. And we
Mm-hmm.
saw the history is the reference for this acts
Mm-hmm.
of the higher exploiting the lower. I mean, it is like in animal kingdom also. It's an animalistic instinct, like
Mm-hmm.
the might exploits the weak.
Mm-hmm.
So now, why does the Lord, or is it the intention of the? How is it that the Varnashrama system, which is meant to actually create, elevate people gradually,
Mm,
uh, is is it like the people who misuse that varnashrama? Do we need a classification at some place? Because these are the questions when we get when we talk about this thing.
mm-hmm.
And somehow, because of our conditioning and our upbringing also, some part of it is also synced in our consciousness. And sadly so, when we actually become devotees also,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that kind of discriminative mentality is there in our psyche.
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, See, we, on one hand, we don't, like we discussed about the respect part. Like, you can't respect an ant as equal to the Paramahamsa. Huh?
Correct.
So
Mm,
that kind of classification is natural and it is required also.
mm-hmm.
But this discriminative mentality is coming up to this, uh, when we see the classification,
Mm,
or we see, or I should say,
mm.
I see the classification uh, in the with the tainted eyes of discrimination. Uh,
Correct.
so this becomes more complex, or I don't know if it is complex or not. Am I making it complex? I don't know. I just
Mm.
want to clarify this thing, whether how do we deal with this discriminative mentality on one hand and the classification on the other hand? Yeah.
Well, discrimination is always there. You know,
Mm,
it is not
mhm,
that you um, you work in a software company.
mm,
Which company do you work?
Emphasis.
Infosys. What is your designation?
Consultant, bro.
Okay. If you are a consultant, are there people above you?
So many.
Are there people below you?
Few.
Yeah. So now is that not a hierarchy? Can't it lead to discrimination, exploitation?
Uh-huh. It's exploited. Dryly.
Yeah, it will. I mean, anywhere
Mm,
you go, that is there. So how can you artificially give that up? So now the problem is not with hierarchy. The problem is with people who wish to exploit. So they will figure out some way to exploit. So the problem is with the exploitative tendency, and the problem is not with hierarchy because hierarchy and classification is always there. Okay, it is always
mm,
there. And in your Infosys, are there multiple departments?
so quite a few.
Quite a few departments, right?
Mm.
Why such departments? Why not only one department? Why there is some discrimination?
Depending on the nature of the work which they're
Ah,
doing. Mm.
functionally, isn't
Yes,
it? So
yes.
functionally. So similarly, for functional purposes, depending on the inclination that particular people may have and skill set particular people may have, there
Mm,
is there is a classification. So that is like
mm,
Varnashrama only. Whether you call it Varnashrama or not, whether you call it caste system or not,
mm,
uh, it is
mm,
there.
mm,
The only thing is that over
mm,
a period of time, it became completely dependent on birth and not due to qualification. So if they were if there were actually qualified Brahmanas, not just purely based on birth, but based on their qualification,
Hmm.
they would not have exploited the lower Varnas. They would have protected them. They would have taken care of them. They would have guided them. They would
Hmm.
have allowed, they would have facilitated their growth in the spiritual path.
Hmm.
Uh, but because such people, but over a period of time, it became due to birth.
Hmm.
Then it became a problem. Uh,
Hmm.
not based on qualification.
Hmm.
So then it becomes like a, mm, then it becomes completely like a, what to say, um, like a government, not now government
Hmm.
employees are also different. They are also held responsible for their work. So
Correct.
now it
Hmm.
becomes like, you spend so many years, you will automatically get a promotion like that, that no one likes. Then it
Hmm.
kind of demotivates everyone to
Hmm.
stop working, because they know that
Hmm.
just by mere existence, jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bhag, they know just by
Hmm.
living I will get promotion. I, so so they will not work. So when the varnashram became, when it became like that, then it became a problem. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so it became like the you know a government office.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Hmm.
where purely based on seniority,
Hmm.
respect was given, not based on their capacity to work.
Hmm.
And on top of that, if you're, you know, if the father passes away while he was working,
Hmm.
then on compassionate grounds, the son gets the same job. Now, whether the son is qualified or not, that we do not know, whether the son even has interest in doing that job, but purely based on compassionate grounds, and
Hmm.
uh, and you know, so like that. So when it becomes like that, then it becomes a problem.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if it is purely based on qualification, that qualification based bifurcation is always there. It has always been there in the outside world. So the problem is when it became by birth. I mean, it's not that previously it was not by birth. Okay.
Hmm.
By birth, it was by birth only. But
Hmm.
by birth, qualified father and qualified mother would do proper samskaras for their child, and they would provide an environment where that the what to say, the skills and the tendencies and the nature of that
Hmm.
particular varna is properly nurtured.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but in the absence of that,
Hmm.
then what happens? Uh, in the absence of that, then one does not get proper samskaras, and they don't develop those varna qualities properly, and then
Hmm.
purely based on without qualification, they they start claiming the privileges only based on their birth, and people can see it that this person is not qualified, and but still claiming, and this definitely irritates, and
Hmm.
over a period of time it creates a problem. So
Hmm.
under such a circumstances, under such a circumstance, when you start speaking about varnashrama, it will definitely irritate people,
Hmm.
because it has
Hmm.
become like a government office
Hmm.
where there is no meritocracy. It is
Hmm.
all based on birth. Just like in a
Hmm.
government office, it does not really matter whether you perform or not. If you, as long as you get into the office, no one can get you out of the office. It's like that. Okay.
Hmm.
So you are eligible for everything, the pension and the uh, promotion and everything, all based on how many years you have spent. So
Hmm.
creates a very that creates a lot of negative public sentiments.
Hmm.
So that's exactly what happened. And at this point of time, you go and speak about varnashrama, the need to divide the society into four. There will be heavy backlash,
Hmm.
because there is a history to it, and you have to be sympathetic
Hmm.
uh, of the history of what has happened. And the history has happened over many centuries, or at least a century.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can't wipe out that century long history and just say that, oh, I'm talking very normal thing. Why there should be a backlash? There will be a backlash because there is a history to it. So, and now how we can speak, for that you should have, like Prabhupada said, that there should have a properly qualified set of Brahmanas who will not exploit and who are engaged in patan patan yajan yajan dana pratigraha, not engaged in software jobs and academia and things like that, right? So you need all that. So you need those people. You need people who walk their talk. So, and even to walk their talk, you need a system which supports that also. In the you see in all the Sri Vaishnava temples, most of the Sri Vaishnava temples, you have all the priests who are engaged in the worship. Practically all their sons would be in the United States doing further studies or working in some companies. Okay. So they themselves want their children not to engage in that particular profession because they see that there is no scope for sustenance because the society does not support. So the things have gone to a great degree. So if you want to start talking about it to the general public, the first thing is, do you have a support system which will support it? Do you have a support system where at least the speaker can live a life based on it and make a living out of it? Okay. So those are things which you have to, which should be there. Otherwise, when we speak and you don't have a sustainable system to back it up, how are you going to convince yourself? What to speak of convincing others that it is a sustainable system? So these are things which we should understand.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about Prabhupada giving the Varnashrama system also, so um, uh, this is also, I mean, something to that extent, but not, of course, that we talk about Daivi Varnashrama and all. Even that we have so much of confusion of ultimately ultimately we are talking about one who receives the seed of your devotional service. There is no materialistic varnashrama in that, right? So this is just to create a favorable atmosphere for practicing bhakti only, or and even in devotees also, we see so much of discriminative spirit. Then we talk about Brahman initiated devotees. Um, then there are devotees who are serving the deities. And then there are temple presidents. This classification exists in a different form.
See, it's not a problem with classification. It's a problem with people who wish to exploit. As long as exploitative people are there, they will figure out some reason or some way of exploiting. It's not a problem with the hierarchy. Hierarchy is there throughout the world. Show me one place, including Russia or China, where there is no hierarchy.
Definitely, I do agree that there is hierarchy everywhere. It is, yeah.
And you see, actually, if you see, maximum exploitation is there in these places where they say there is no need for any hierarchy. The
Exactly.
communist countries,
Yes.
by far the greatest amount of exploitation happens there only.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
So the problem is not with bifurcation; it is with the problem is with the people who have that mentality of exploiting others. But the problem is, if you want to talk about it, you better have a system to back it up. Otherwise, don't push people into it where they get into it but they realize that they have gotten into a Chakravyuha. Okay. They have tried it for 10 years, but realized that hmm, they have tried it for 10 years, but then realized that they are unable to sustain. And by the time already they have lost their skills in whatever
Mm.
software or whatever, and they
Mm.
find it very difficult to, um, get settled. They
And
can,
this is my experience in I mean so far in 90% of the cases, those devotees who actually say that we want to have a simple living, they go to the farm, they spend some time, come back. In my little experience, I could be there
yeah,
with so many like this. 90
yeah,
90% of the people who gone to the farm have not stayed there, came back.
yeah. And by the time they come back, they have already lost the edge. They cannot re-enter the, whatever you may want to call the rat race.
Yes,
It's difficult.
correct.
It's
Yes,
difficult.
that is why all these questions are coming, Prabhuji. And second thing about the if we don't fall under the sooner we receive the seed of pure devotional service,
Hmm.
then we
Hmm.
say that we are not in that karmic system anymore, and
Hmm.
our accounts are settled by Krishna
Hmm.
under his
Hmm.
supervision.
Hmm.
Like I always get intrigued with this question. With this, right? How? I mean, am I? I mean, I know that I heard that question. This topic in
Are you sure your bhakti is
Are You
pure?
Sure Bhakti is Pure, and Kalanidhi Prabhu also asked good pertinent questions in that series as well, and you clarified with so much of detail. Still I am not able to just understand, especially I am ready to box people when they go wrong, and I am applying the karmic mentality to the Vaishnavas, especially the family members and like that. And I am also sometimes intrigued about myself, sometimes that whether we can call ourselves a devotee, like how just because I chant rounds. Can I call myself a devotee? All these questions arise. How am I just not part of the karmic cycle just because I am doing something different than the other people?
Okay.
All these things
The,
come.
the only
Yeah,
question is, what
yeah.
is it? Uh, uh, what is it that you you specially get or not get, which the other karmic people get? Is it that you are exempted from punishment? No. Is it that you are exempted from reward? No. The karmic system provides punishment and reward. You also will get punishment and reward. So the punishment and reward um, uh, will be according to your goal. So now you
Okay.
have decided that your goal is to attain Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, if you make a mistake, I will punish you by slowing down your progress towards your goal. And if you
Okay.
do something right, I will
Mm.
reward you by making your progress towards your goal fast. The same
Okay.
system karma also has. Yeah, but those under karma, they have a goal of enjoying in this material world. So you make a
Okay.
mistake there, there
Mm.
is a punishment in the form of something which is opposed to your goal, which is to sukha pravritti and dukkha nivritti. So you'll get
Mm.
dukkha pravritti and sukha nivritti. And you do something good, you will get the reward. You will be given the reward of sukha pravritti and dukkha nivritti. Same
Mm.
system. System is same. Punishment is there, but the
Mm.
punishment will be, see, if you have
Mm.
enrolled in a, if you have enrolled in an engineering course, I can't fail you in your commerce paper, right? Correct or not?
Correct.
So if you are an engineer, I can fail you in your mechanics paper or your whatever, depending on your stream of engineering. fluid dynamics or whatever, if you are a mechanical engineer, I can fail you in that paper only. So if you are a commerce person, I can fail you in your commerce paper, economics paper. So similarly, uh, depending on the goal, the punishment and reward should be in line with attaining that goal. So because these two people have different goals, okay, they may be dealing with the same kind of problems. Okay. Inattention, lack of taste to study. Those things may be there. Those are common in commerce students and engineering students. Okay. And if they don't study, they will score less marks. But a commerce student will score less marks in his commerce paper, and an engineering student will score less marks in his engineering paper. But the system of reward and punishment is there. So why should you feel that you are actually, out of humility, you don't have to think that, oh, what is it that I am doing that I am so special? Who told that you are special? The same punishment and reward is going to be there. Just that you have enrolled in a different course, the punishment and reward will be according to that course. And someone else has enrolled in some other course, they will get also punishment and reward according to their course. So who is telling that you are very special?
Okay.
So that resolves your problem.
Yes, only the supervisor changes. That means.
Yeah, the supervisor changes. That's all. But there is always a invigilator. They will ensure that you don't copy in the exam, and all those things are there for both. Just that the invigilator is different. That's all.
So is this was the demigods they went to in prayers to Mother Devaki, Tathanate Madhava
Madhava
Tavaka.
Tavaka Kochit. Yeah. Yeah. Tvayabhigupta Vicharanti Nirbhayat. The protection of Krishna is there. Why the protection of Krishna is there? Because you have already told Krishna that Krishna, this is my goal. This is my goal. Okay. So Krishna will not allow you to escape that goal. And that protection is there in the path of karma also. But not by Krishna, but by the path of karma. Karma also protects you to maintain your desire to attain your goal of enjoyment in this material world.
Correct.
So in one sense, there is no difference. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I have one thing which is continuation, but it will take more time. I'll ask some time later. Let others ask question. Thank you.
Let others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Pavan Gaurang.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu, for answers, Prabhu. And always your explanation with analogies, it makes the concept, it is very clear. It has proved multiple times. Thank you for that. Prabhu, my question is regarding, you mentioned that karma, it needs some qualification in terms of the samskara. Like if Gnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, if he wants to practice, he needs the prerequisite of karma qualification. So now devotee, we don't see that there is no time, place, circumstance. He doesn't have any. If you see any material qualification, it doesn't require for devotional service, except that either faith or in the complete, attraction to the Lord or something. It's relevant, completely relevant to the devotional. What does it make so special? It doesn't require any material qualification, Prabhu.
Because bhakti is only the dharma of the soul. Karma is not the dharma of the soul. Jnana is not the dharma of the soul. The dharma of the soul is bhakti. So therefore, there is no material qualification. Um, So, so the nature of the dharma is different. Karma is on the platform of body. So therefore, there are material qualifications. Okay. But bhakti is jaiva dharma. It is the dharma of the jiva. So therefore, there is no material qualification or disqualification for that, because that is there only for those on the material platform. the dharma which is there on the material platform, because bhakti is not um, the a dharma on the bodily platform. Therefore, it is not dependent.
Okay, bro. Means it's only based upon the soul, means the basic concept for the devotional, what we see as a soul, Jivere Sarapai Krishna and Nityadas. On that thing only it is relevant, other than because it is not in relation with the matter, so it doesn't require any material qualification.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Radha Pramod Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Yes,
Bro,
Prabhu.
this is regarding the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Karl Marx, he actually studied all the civilizations,
Mm-hmm.
and according to his theorem, it is that there will be always a revolutions. The reason is because the lower in the hierarchy, the lower people are always exploited by the higher people. But and he proved it with all the civilizations across the world. But when he come to India, he
Mm-hmm.
saw in Varnashrama system, it was from quite a long time, and there
Mm-hmm.
was never a revolution in India from the lower people against the higher people.
Mm-hmm.
So he was completely confused why there is no revolution in India.
Mm-hmm.
Because the system is in such a way there is no exploitation in the system. Why it is not there? Because everybody is satisfied with the work they are doing. Say, if I
Mm.
am a cobbler, or if I am a kshatriya, or if I am a businessman, or if I am a brahmana, so what is to happen is they were having that sanskaras, and
Mm-hmm.
he is completely satisfied because everybody is contributing to the society. So they felt this is my contribution to the society. They never felt that okay, now I'm a cobbler, I should become a businessman, or a businessman never thought I should become a king, or a king never thought that I should become a sage like this. So everybody knows that this is my contribution to the society, and everybody is given that respect. So the whole Vedic culture is culture of respect. So
Yeah.
everybody is respected, everybody is satisfied with the contribution they are doing to the society. And the carpenter's son, he knows that I continue doing the service of my father, and that is my contribution to the society. And everybody valued him. The king
Correct.
valued and the society valued. Everybody valued each other's contribution because the society was culture of respect.
Yeah.
So this was Vedic culture. That's why there was no exploitation, even though there is hierarchy, like Brahmanas are the most respected. And because even the king used to come and make Brahmana sit in his asana and worship and wash his feet, because they valued his contribution. And king is
Correct.
valued his contribution, Vaishya is valued. So not that the Vaishya will tell to his son, beta, you should become a king in the future. No. He knows that this person can do this. He says, you do this, and this is our service to the society, and people are respecting it. So there was never like when Prabhupada went to Macmillan Company in this Japan, then he asked, "What is your goal?" Then that person took all the visiting cards and took his
Yeah.
one and kept in the
Yeah.
top. So
Yeah.
that is actually modern theory that I should go to the higher, I should climb the ladder higher and higher. But that
Yeah.
is not there in the Vedic culture that I should become higher and higher. Kshatriya, he was happy that I am giving protection to the, even I give my life. It is said that Kshatriyas were not living more than 40 because they were always going and fighting and trying to do it, and they're happy when doing it. So this is only person like now, because whole passion and ignorance had taken over to the society. This culture has come of you have to go higher and higher. That was
Yeah.
not the training. You go to Gurukula, you identify your job, what you can do for the society. Society will respect you. You are happy, and that is how you, and everybody, Brahmanas can take sannyas, Kshatriyas can go till Vanaprastha, Vaishyas can go till Vanaprastha. They all did their karma. Their mind was very peaceful. That is the main thing, because they are doing what they are meant to do. Their mind was peaceful, their heart was satisfied, they were able to give up the results of their activity, and that itself made them come to mode of goodness and focus on the Lord and remain happy life.
Yeah.
So it was never that and if somebody is born with higher qualities, and society used to respect, like Suta Goswami was born in a lower, but everybody respected him because he had that qualities, and they made him sit on Vyasasana and said, "Now you speak." So it was not. Vidra was also respected. Of course, even though the he was not given any post, but Vidra was having that respect because everybody valued what he is able to contribute to the society.
Correct.
So that is what is made everybody happy that okay, I'll be under this king. So the Vaishyas were always happy to be under a king. They were never thinking I should become the king. They're saying he is giving that service. We will do our service to him. That's all. Shudras were also happy, even though they were not paid. They were knowing my master will take care. And whole life they used to serve the master without any, even though they have some here and there, but they want to serve under master. So that is the only quality for a Shudra, to be loyal and faithful and honest. And they used to, even though master becomes old, invalid, but the Shudra will never leave because he understands this is what I had to do. And he never thought I should become the master. So that was a full culture of respect. That is why Vedic society is called culture of respect, because that helps a person to be happy in whatever state and focus his mind, not in a competition. It was not a competition. It was going a higher role, knowing that okay, I should achieve something higher and detach myself from this material world. That was the slowly that Nishkam Karma Yoga were easy to practice. Even Karma Kanda was also easy to practice in that environment. So there was no exploitation.
Yeah, perfect, bro. So that's what. So because they were, each one was qualified also in their particular system. So therefore, when you see qualified people doing their things, people don't have an issue. When you have unqualified people, like you very nicely gave the example of Suta Goswami also, even though by birth he was not qualified, but they did not have a problem of elevating him to the Vyasasana to speak, because even though the qualification by birth was not there, but definitely they could see the qualification. Um, so that was the system that was there. But gradually over a period of time, when it became just due to birth, and even unqualified people were claiming themselves to be Brahmanas, and they started exploiting, then the whole thing. Yeah, as you rightly said, the problem was with the culture of respect. Everyone was appreciated and everyone understood their role in the society. Uh, yeah, but we have gone very, very far away from that right now. So, yeah, I agree. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much for sharing.
Correct.
Yes, Keshav Priyamataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, that pranams. Prabhuji, it is in continuation of your discussion with Shyam Sundaranand Prabhu.
Mhm.
Prabhuji, you are discussing about how people they go to, I mean, in early stages of bhakti itself, they get inspired and they go to live simple life, and later they're not able to cope up and they are left out. Like after 10-15 years, they're not able to cope up with materialistic life also, Prabhuji.
Mm,
This is how he said, out of his small experience, it is 90% he has observed, and my experience also I'm saying, and everyone has this experience, Prabhuji.
mm,
So, what I am trying to understand and ask you is, so initially, Prabhuji, when we get attracted to bhakti, everything is so nice, Prabhuji, like everything, we get so attracted and we feel so inspired by the person who is cultivating us or other any every devotee. And we feel like giving our life and soul to the movement or to the bhakti, Prabhuji.
mhm,
But later, as we progress, we slowly understand that it is not that easy as we thought earlier.
mhm,
Because in bhakti, it is not only 100% on our endeavor, it is purely dependent on mercy, Prabhuji, mercy of Vaishnavas and mercy of the Lordship, Prabhuji.
mhm.
So, and it is against the swimming against the tide. It is not that easy as we thought. So, as days progress or years progress, we really get to know where we stand in bhakti. I mean, whatever we are doing, we're down the line, down. The gap is always huge, Prabhuji. So in
Yeah.
that case, as a preacher, I also inspire people to take up bhakti, Prabhuji.
Mhm,
So many of us inspire people. but some may be thoroughly inspired that they. And the other day, you are explaining very beautifully about brahmacharya, na Prabhuji. You said brahmacharya is a training period where you can focus on bhakti, but later, if you want to enter into grahastha, you can enter. Or you can, if you are convinced to stay back, you can stay back.
Yeah,
But it's not this. If someone doesn't have this understanding, they see this as a fall down, na Prabhuji. They, I mean, he
yeah,
was in the saffron, now he's
right.
so that pressure, society pressure, peer pressure, and
Yeah,
our mind will give pressure. So
yeah,
what I think is, Prabhuji, we need definitely some very, very deep guidance in this in the initial period itself, Prabhuji. Like because people initial inspiration is too much. Even for my own self, I was thoroughly inspired. But when I start moving now, I get to understand that it is not that easy. So uh, I should balance everything. Otherwise, I'll be left out. For example, if we go for a dam 1 week, we'll say I wish to stay here itself. But more than a week, since I'm not pure inside, I have to come back to my materialistic, at least to my life, and I have to face this Prabhuji. So, what sort of guidance the authorities can give to the newcomers so that they may not be left out like this, Prabhuji? Did you get my question, Prabhuji?
yeah, I understand your question, kind of.
Mm, mm,
The point is, first thing, the
mm,
whatever the the guides and the mentors and the counselors are convinced, only that they will guide.
mm,
So we cannot talk about what guidance they should be giving. The
mm,
most point is what is it that they themselves are convinced about.
mm,
So that is very important. And have they internalized,
mm,
what they have heard? Uh, because sometimes when you internalize, you will understand that the understanding of that particular principle, which they have heard from their seniors, is actually much
mm.
more nuanced. It is not so
Nice.
plain. It is
Yes,
not so
Prabhuji.
plain.
Mm,
So oftentimes people hear and they are very eager to dump it to
mm,
the people under them without properly
mm,
internalizing. Have I understood the principle properly or not?
mm,
So that should change actually. Oh,
mm,
yes, I have heard. I have heard it like this. Yes, you have heard it like this. But how do you? Are you sure you are repeating what you heard? But
mm,
have you bothered to understand if you have understood it the way it was intended by the speaker?
mm,
Mm, so that's very important actually. So, and that is why you need a forum of equals, uh,
mm,
uh, where you kind of talk. Prabhu Maharaj told like this today. So, what is the understanding? What do you
mm,
think? A group of uh, equals who are sincere, they come together and discuss and churn.
mm,
But mostly, what we do, oh, I want to give this class. Let me go. I will hear this lecture of Maharaj and then I will take points and then I will speak.
mm,
Yeah, you are speaking the right points, but whether you have understood it exactly the way that your spiritual master intended to communicate or not, for that, it is very important that you have a forum where uh, we are not going to check what you have heard, but the importance is what you have understood. Okay, not everyone who goes to a calculus class becomes a calculus expert. Okay, so you have you have a class where the teacher has taken 10 classes in calculus. Okay, it's not that all those students who have attended those 10 classes, they have heard the same thing, but when it comes to the examination, they are not able to get the same marks. Someone is getting 100, someone is getting 20. So which means what the person has internalized is also important. But when the some of the students get together and the weaker student presents his point and "Okay, I understood it like this, but I'm not getting the answer," then the other student says, no, 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 actually, if you You should not do it like this. This step, you have missed this particular step. You apply this step, then you will see you'll get the answer. So that system should be there. If it is needed for something like calculus, then it's all the more spiritual knowledge is much more nuanced than ordinary material knowledge. So definitely that kind of a system should be there where at least the equals come together and then they say, "Okay, what is this understanding? What is your understanding on this?" But the point is we here for presenting, then it becomes a problem. Because those people to whom you are presenting will anyway not question you unless you create a system where that is there. Like that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So the point is what they should see. Actually, the reality is that everyone is educating. Everyone who is in the position of a counselor or mentor, they are educating people under them. It's not that they are not educating. They are educating on those things which they themselves are convinced. So it's not a problem with the education itself. It's I think everyone is educating to the way they are convinced and to the way they are able to practice. So now the educators, their conviction and their understanding, is it on the right track? That needs to be seen. So when that is there, then automatically, see, if someone is convinced in a different way, so you have been speaking to your people under you, and the last 2-3 years you have been attending these sessions. So these sessions, does it have some influence on what you speak to the people under you in these last two years?
100%, Prabhuji. That is
So
why I am telling, Prabhuji.
that's the point. So the point is not that I'm not telling about this session, any session for that matter, whether you may hear from Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj or anyone for that matter. So the point is that when you hear, what you hear and you internalize, that will automatically, you will pass it on to the people below. So we cannot kind of tell that they should educate on this. The point is that if they themselves are educated on this, they will automatically educate their subordinates on that.
Prabhuji, I have some different opinion in this because a few months back we had here in Erode, in my place, Her Grace Lakshmi Muni Mataji, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she gave women's session, Prabhuji. At the end of the session, she said, "We made a huge mistake at our time, so please don't do that." Is that we didn't take care of our family. So ISKCON faced a huge problem of the next generation where children were totally they were left out. Like we were so much into this enthusiasm and we didn't take care of family. So please take care of family. Like that, she advised us, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So what I'm telling is that she gave the advice at her 80s now, Prabhuji, 70s, 80s, she may be.
Yeah.
So initially she said she didn't know. I mean, their generation, not only her, that whole generation of Prabhupada's direct, I mean, at that earlier stages, Prabhuji. But
Yeah.
now they realize that they made a mistake.
Yeah.
She said, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am telling that only, Prabhuji. Should I learn only after committing a mistake? For example, if I
Do
also
you have
do
a
like
choice? Do you have a choice? At that
choice
time, if
can be that
someone, if
education, no, Prabhuji. Like
no,
why I
for
am telling this?
education, now you had Lakshmi Mani Mataji who had that education, who told you. At that time, no one was there. No one told
Yes,
her.
yes,
If
Prabhuji.
they were there, they would have educated. Now, is Lakshmi Mani Mataji waiting till you turn to 80 to educate you?
No. Now it's
No, she's telling now only, right?
Yes,
As soon as she realized, she's communicating. So
yes,
till then, she said she herself told we didn't know.
yes.
So if there was if that education was there, she would have educated. So the problem, you say that the problem is lack of education. I agree, but the problem is lack of
Guidance,
education.
Prabhuji. That
No,
I'm talking like you only, Prabhuji. Like the point you said is I 100% agree that learning, hearing is different, but realizing is different. So now only,
yeah,
Prabhuji, before attending your sessions, everything looked so achievable, or everything looked like it is in my hands. But now, for the past 3 years, I'm trying to ask you many questions, not only you other devotees who are assembling, like We are trying to internalize things. And now, somewhere I understand my exact position, Prabhuji. Like, it is not that easy. It needs lot of mercy and lot of effort and lot of endeavor. Like that, many things are here, Prabhuji. It was not that easy as I thought earlier before attending your sessions, Prabhuji. And I feel this has to be explained to every devotee of ISKCON.
I understand. I understand. The
Mm,
point is, see, I totally
mm,
agree with your point. The only point
mm,
that I am trying to communicate is that the
mm,
more the educators themselves are convinced, that way they will educate their subordinates. That is the point.
mm,
So,
mm,
if Lakshmi Moni Mataji had a Lakshmi Moni Mataji to tell her earlier in her
mm,
spiritual
mm,
life, she would not have done that mistake.
mm,
So now, after realizing she's communicating to you, she has not
mm,
waited till you reach 80 years old. Before
mm,
only she has told.
mm,
So, the same way, when the
mm.
educators get educated, they will educate those under them. So,
So you
that's the
mean to
point.
say it is just on the, I mean, it will take some time for proper
Yeah,
educators.
yeah.
Mm,
Many devotees who are attending these sessions are themselves educators.
mm.
So, and when when they learn, they naturally will share their understanding only to their subordinates.
Mm.
So that will automatically happen.
So in future, many will have the exact idea of what
See,
we are doing,
the-
Prabhuji.
see, one thing,
Mm,
how much ever we may feel, mistakes cannot be avoided. That is the nature of life. Mistakes will be done. Some people will have to learn from the mistakes only. And if someone is fortunate enough on some aspects, we may learn from the wisdom of others. In some other aspect, we may still commit our own mistakes and learn subsequently when we get the good guidance. That is the nature. We cannot become paranoid about it.
Prabhuji, the gravity of mistake is like why I am raising this is many youth like you, I mean boys especially, they get inspired in their college days itself by Bhakti Prabhuji, and they almost giving their, I mean their parents have huge dream on them. All those things they're giving up. They're coming here, Prabhuji. But after some years only, they're able to understand what they're doing, and at that time, it turns irreversible. So
Yeah. So that
but
is
the
there.
bhakti is also in stake now, Prabhuji. Like at least if they are okay, let this loss be there, but I am good at bhakti. Sometimes their conditioned nature is not allowing them because they're not as pure to take that ashrama completely, Prabhuji. So the bhakti itself, they indulge in illicit things or do some exploitation even in bhakti, Prabhuji. So that is going to be still more dangerous now, Prabhuji.
Yeah. See, that is why I'm telling we
Mm.
don't have a see. Education can only gradually happen. It cannot drastically happen.
Mm.
So anything you want to do fast, you only think that it has been accomplished, but it will not be accomplished.
Mm. That is what
So
I'm trying to say.
gradually, when
Mm.
let people hear, rather than hearing and panicking that it is not happening in the outside world, people have to hear, internalize, you know, get it into their heart, and with realization when they communicate to the others, then that education will gradually spread. We were
Mm.
discussing the other day, 4 or 5 things have to happen slowly only. Hmm.
Mm.
Education is one of that. It has to happen
Mm.
slowly. You cannot have rapid education. Uh,
Mm.
uh, it has to happen slowly, gradually, because the internalization and realization takes time. When people realize and internalize, otherwise, what will happen? You hear something from someone, you get very inspired, and you
Mm.
will start speaking it to others without
Yes.
realizing, and you will hear something else from someone else, which is more exciting, and then you will change your thoughts and you will go and speak that to the people under
Mm.
you, and then you will hear a third person who more
Mm.
excitingly says something, and then so the point is, let education take its own time. In the meantime, there may be some casualties. Krishna will take care. We can't we can feel for them, but at the same time, we have to do whatever is the needful. Something which has to happen slowly, you have to happen slowly. Something which has to be cooked slowly, you cannot increase the heat and try to rapid cook it. It will get spoiled. So whatever needs to take time, let slowly things happen.
So for such mistakes, Prabhuji, will not the preacher will also pay the penalty? Like, will he be also be punished or something like that by your lordship?
See, the bhakti is a path of intention. If the intention was to help, then to that extent the punishment will be less.
Oh, so as a preacher, we can just have some pure intention, give our best. That's all we can do,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Shiv Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad pranams, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, I had few other questions, Prabhu, but I think the context went so deep in different direction today. So I'm just going with the flow, Prabhu. I'm trying to understand, Prabhu, the discussions back and forth on the Varnashrama and the differences between the Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. I'm trying to understand what is the foundation of this question, Prabhu. Is that because I have taken up pure Bhakti and neither I am experiencing the bliss of Bhakti, nor I am following the path of the Krama Mukti, and so I seem to be missing the...
Yeah, probably that could be one of the reasons where they say that, hey, you are calling me Bhakta, but I feel like I'm really in the beginning stages of devotion, or maybe not even begun like that. Someone may feel like I'm really suffering with lot of anarthas and things like that. My struggles are very deep. So how am I to, kind of like that? People may think like that. So that fear of, that will I be like a raven cloud? As Arjuna asked the same question in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What about a person who starts yoga but is not able to achieve perfection? And if he has already given up the materialistic life, will he not be like a raven cloud? Not, neither here, not there. So, Krishna assures Arjuna. This is for Ashtanga Yoga. Then how much more it is true for Bhakti Yoga? He says that don't worry. Even if you have left out after practicing for a long time, then you will take birth in a family of yogis where you will immediately get the inspiration to progress from there and the facilitation. And if you have practiced for a short while and given up, then again there will be facilitation. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bijayate. Like that he says. So that facilitation is there. So naturally, these questions are born out of a sense of guilt and fear. Guilt that I'm not following bhakti properly, and fear that what if I miss out both the buses?
Both, yes, Prabhu.
You run to you want to go to your hometown, and you go that you see that you get a non-AC bus. This example may not be relevant for you, but okay, someone who wants to travel in an AC bus, let's say. So there are two buses. First he comes, there is a crowded non-AC bus. Then suddenly there is in a distance, you see a crowded, not so crowded AC bus. You get down from this bus and run to that bus. The meantime, that bus leaves, and then you run back to this bus. This bus also leaves, so you are left stranded at the same place.
Yes, Prabhu.
So that fear definitely is the cause. Again and again, these questions. I'm telling you, till you complete 12th canto, these questions will keep on coming.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, because this fear is natural, we all have this fear.
Yeah.
We all have this fear. This is natural. This is natural fear. That is why I never get bored answering this question, because I too have this fear.
So, Prabhu, that's where I had this question, Prabhu, quite some time. I have discussed this, not in full, in part, but I'm bringing it up now. One thing that I wanted to discuss, Prabhu, on this topic. We all know, at least in theory, that the goal of the karma and jnana paths versus bhakti is different, at least in theory. Right, Prabhu. So, to me, the argument seems invalid, even speaking of bhakti, karma and jnana yoga as alternate paths, actually, or choices itself, when the goal itself is different.
Yeah,
So,
I
right,
agree.
Prabhu. That's one thing. So, that's where I have this question, Prabhu, that this is again related to this topic.
In one sense, I would say the path is also different. It depends on how you see it. Okay. So if you like someone, you can say our commerce stream and engineering stream, are they different paths or the same path?
It's different streams, Prabhu, in terms of, I mean, having profession as a goal, it's different streams.
That's the point. So the point is, if you say as means of livelihood, okay, if you take the means of livelihood as a goal, then these are two competing paths.
True.
They fall in the same category. But if you say my goal is to become an engineer, okay, my goal is to so then the commerce path is not a viable alternative.
Great, Prabhu. Great.
So similarly, if someone wants to escape the material world, then the gradual path is another path.
Yes.
But if someone is very specific, I don't just want to escape the material world, but I want to escape the material world and become a personal associate of Krishna.
Exactly.
Then this path is not a viable path.
Exactly, Prabhu. So does that mean that when we ask this question, in the bottom of the heart, there is this aim of objective of liberation from material existence is the goal?
Probably. Probably that is still there. There are people, honestly speaking, there are people who think that, I don't want, do you see, sometimes when all children want to, achieve very high goals. But over a period of time, when they realize the hard work that it entails to achieve the higher goal, oftentimes people kind of reconcile and they say that, they reconcile in various ways. They reconcile in I am not meant for it. Or oftentimes people reconcile by telling sour grapes, that the goal itself is not, not all doctors are the people who die very soon. Okay. They don't have very good quality of life. Why should I become a doctor? Like that, they will reconcile. Anyways, the reality is that they are not willing to put in that kind of a hard work to become a doctor themselves. So they will say some other reason, whatever. Now, the point is that people reconcile. Okay, I cannot do it. So I will settle down for something lower. So in this mode, people say that, prema is very high.
Yeah.
As long as I can escape the material world, it's good enough, right? Like that.
Okay, yes, Prabhu. So thank you, Prabhu. This is brilliant insight, Prabhu. I'll have to listen few times. Brilliant. So, Prabhu, I'm just little stretching here.
If it was so brilliant, why do you have to listen to it few times? It means it was not brilliant.
I want to relish, Prabhu, actually. Relish the experience. Prabhu, I just had this question, Prabhu, a little stretching it. This is something that I have in my mind also. In terms of the goal itself, Prabhu, like we always give this example of a student who is aspiring to get into a premier institution is making sacrifice when compared to his peers of what the worldly pleasures that they go through, roaming around and watching movies or whatnot. I am sacrificing it for a goal, and he is aware of it. He is aware of the sacrifice, and he is aware of why he is making the sacrifice in the view of the goal. But when we say this love of God, Prabhu, to go back to that example, when I do such sacrifice, when I work hard, I do have access to people who have reached that goal, what they do in this world actually, in pratyaksha, as a pratyaksha pramana. Whereas, if I have to work so hard for this love of Godhead, and if the end state is not within my reach or experience, or I cannot connect and kind of see how people relish it. I'm talking about the perfected devotees, Prabhu. When such the goal is out of my sight, out of my reach, even to see as a pratyaksha pramana, so that seems like an argument that the mind is making. Why are you chasing some goal which you cannot even visualize or see it, what it, how people who have reached that released that experience?
You mean you're talking about those on the path, those on the gradual path?
No, bhakti itself, Prabhu, bhakti itself.
Bhakti itself, if you cannot see.
I mean, I do have, I mean, I agree that the purification that I go through, it's a pratyaksha pramana. The quality of consciousness improving, pratyaksha pramana. Quality of life is improving, pratyaksha pramana. But I am talking about in terms of relationships, Prabhu, because that's not my experience in this world. Either within the non-devotees or within devotees, perfect relationship, purely out of love, it's not within my experience now.
Okay.
And that is something that I'm not able to see it also for one who has attained it also in this world.
Well, that may be your very external experience of it.
Okay.
Why do you think that they will be inspired to reveal to you about their deep friendships with others? So, what have you done to warrant such a revelation of their heart?
Okay.
So, so therefore, how many years have we known each other?
Slightly over 2 years, Prabhu.
Slightly over 2 years. Okay. In the meantime, we have met many times, spent time. So can you tell me who is my best friend?
I don't know, Prabhu.
That's the point. So in those people whom you are, whom you have observed, and about whom you just shared, have you spent nearly as much time as you have spent with me?
Sorry, Prabhu, come again. I'm sorry.
So you gave some example, right? Even in my observation in the perfected devotees, I don't see that kind of a relationships existing. How much time have you spent with them to research on this topic?
Okay. I don't know, in terms of, I mean, not in terms of time, Prabhu, but to your question, I'm saying I myself have not witnessed, and within my circle, I have not witnessed in the people with whom I have spent a quite amount of time, I would say, Prabhu.
Yeah, I mean,
the close circle, I'm saying.
Yeah, even the close circle. One thing is maybe they are also still figuring out. Maybe they are also sadhakas who have not yet realized the importance of association.
Exactly. That's my point, Prabhu. Exactly. They are not even into spiritual path, Prabhu. I mean, not even.
So because you did mention that even amongst perfected devotees, that's why.
Got it, Prabhu. Yeah. But that's the catch, right, Prabhu? To even get closer to such. I'm not even talking about perfected, Prabhu. Even people who have reached even Nishtha, it calls for a certain level of purification for me to even get into that level
not
of
necessary.
proximity.
No, not necessary. Because they don't feel like that. That's our advantage.
Okay.
They don't feel like that.
Okay. So, Prabhu, you are saying basically it still the onus is on me to try and endeavor to find out that experience, and it's not within my reach. I cannot conclude that it's not within my reach in this world.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's always enlightening. Thank you. Very much.
Okay, there are a few more points in the chat box. I'll quickly try to take. I'm already 1 minute extra because I don't want to stretch it to tomorrow. I will just quickly touch it. Since Agnidra was a devotee, he actually had no attraction for material enjoyment, but because he wanted a wife for progeny and Lord Brahma had sent Purvachiti for this purpose, he expertly pleased her with flattering words. Women are attracted by man's flattering words. Okay. Okay, this is the point. Okay. We'll cut it. We'll take it tomorrow. Gurumukha Padma Vakya is for the individual to practice, not for you to tell everyone without getting convinced by yourself first. Yeah, correct. This is correct. Even if you are misguided by someone, there is always Guru and Krishna factor in devotee's life for sure if we are sincere. Yeah, very correct. Very correct. If we are sincere, that's the most important point. Lord Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Karma also offers protection. Both seem similar, but isn't the protection that comes directly from Supreme Lord more special? Yeah, the point is the kind of protection that karma offers, you don't even consider it as protection from a devotee's perspective. Okay. From a karmi's perspective, it may be protection. But from a devotee's perspective, it is not even protection. So in that sense, it is reconciled. This mind, just by listening once, it does not enter deep into the heart. Example, by hammering once, the nail does not go into the wall. Again and again, one has to hammer. In the same way, we have to listen again and again so that, okay. Anyways, okay, thank you very much. We will pause here. Tomorrow, directly we will start with the third chapter. Today, I thought because I could sense the displeasure or discontent that, there were questions, but they were not addressed sufficiently. Therefore, I anticipated that today we will not be able to start the third chapter. So, anyways, so it's okay. Tomorrow we will definitely start. Okay. Thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti